So you don't mind your iPhone being built in China by Uyghur children slaves. Google Apple iPhone suicide nets or Foxconn. Take a look at the images, this snuck out images, pictures of where these workers live. Each floor has netting sticking out from it. Now, an idiot might say, well, that's for construction. They are suicide nets. You can't kill yourself here. You got to go back to work and make iPhones for limousine latte liberals in America. Isn't that incredible? The party of civil rights and human rights. Oh, no. Don't bring factories or manufacturing back to the U.S. I want my cheap iPhone made by slave labor. How fucking gross can you get? The hypocrisy is absolutely insane. We really have swapped parties in this country. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome aboard the Max Afterburner podcast. Sponsored, powered, brought to you by the No Fallen Heroes universe. Man, it's been a while. A lot going on. Let's start tactically. Pretty brutal 24 hours. Yesterday, a sightseeing helicopter in New York City essentially disintegrated. Helicopters aren't supposed to come apart in flight. And before I go any further, folks, I've been in aviation close to, my God, I can't believe this. It'll be maybe close to 4 decades, man. 40 years. Started flying 16, 17-ish. Ooh. Helicopters should not fly. They just don't aerodynamically make sense to me. Something goes wrong, it goes wrong bad. Like we saw in New York City, looking at the video. What an absolute horror. Husband, wife, 3 young kids, her 40th birthday in New York City. We're going to go take a helicopter tour. And then clearly the pilot on board, God bless these souls. I mean, they posted pictures like on social media before the motor started. Just absolutely horrific, absolutely devastating. Folks, something goes wrong in a helicopter, it goes wrong quickly. In helos, if something goes wrong with the motor, technically, you can do what's called auto rotation. They start flying downhill and try and get the blade skinny to get the airflow going through so they can kind of cushion or stop the descent. I see them practice that. Good on you. Well, last time I checked, in order to auto rotate, you need a rotor, and the rotor was gone from the top, and the tail boom was gone. And I read reports today that two people, I don't know if it was the kids, the adults were alive at least when the divers got to them, and I guess passed in the hospital. Helicopter pilots, crew, maintenance folks jokingly call one part of the helicopter the Jesus nut. I think it connects the rotor head to the Fetzer valve flux capacitor. I don't know. I don't care because I wouldn't fly in a helicopter. I did once in the Navy, and it was terrifying. I've done some terrifying shit, and I certainly wouldn't let my family ever fly in a helicopter. But when you call something the Jesus nut, meaning like if that fails, there ain't nothing anybody can do, Jesus take the wheel, I don't want to fly in it, right? Anything I've flown in besides the helicopter flight, I could do something, right? In a Cessna, hell, in an airliner, you name the plane, I could put it on a runway somewhere, on a highway, in a field. Hell, look at Sully, speaking of the Hudson, landing with no motors on the Hudson. The Hornet would be a little tougher to put into a field or belly up somewhere, and that's why it had an ejection seat. So, and clearly, ladies and gentlemen, whether it's in, Maui or wherever, Lahaina or New York City, these sightseeing helicopters, it's a business, baby. They probably don't have the most elite maintainers, and there's always this fine line between the aviators and maintenance and the profit end of the business, the operations. Hey, we need a new Jesus nut. Well, do we really? It's all bottom line, folks. So these are workhorses. These helicopters are up, they're down, they fly a shitload of hours, and you would hope that the maintenance is just top notch. And you can probably figure out that it most likely isn't. So that happened. And this morning, I was on with Martha McCallum and Dana Perino doing a Fox News hit talking about this. Got off that Fox News hit wearing my sport coat and I'm wearing shorts. Isn't it funny? If you really ever knew what people are wearing underneath what you see. So I'm, kind of getting undressed there, taking on my sport coat, and my beautiful daughter Keely texts me from Boca Raton High School. Dad, on our family chat, a plane just crashed right next to school. I mean, it took a couple seconds for that to sink in, and then boom, she's like, I heard it. I can smell the smoke, and I hear the sirens. I'm like, oh my God, we're on lockdown. So this morning in Boca Raton, a Cessna 310 crashed just short of the runway, just literally before I got on the air. My phone's filling up with some videos. I mean, they had told the tower we're having some problems. So there's airplanes at the hold short that had their cell phone videos out there. I just saw a horrific video with one of the victims. The body's on fire. I mean, Christ almighty, man. So again, 3 people, kind of like the 6 people yesterday who woke up this morning not thinking they were going to die trying to land back at the Boca Raton airport. I've seen several of these videos. Both engines are working, it appears to me, but the rudder looks full left. So it's I'm seeing like a full left deflection of the rudder for whatever reason. Can't super speculate. I don't fly a Cessna 310, but I'm an aviator with thousands and thousands of hours of experience. Something was wrong. And in the video I saw taken from an airplane at the hold short, they came in and got close to the runway and got squirrely, and they kind of took off to go around again. And that's when they lost control. It's sad to say, but thank God it wasn't worse. Like Keely's high school. I've flown in and out of Boca a ton of times in our L-39 Albatross and in business jets out to Aspen and all that type of stuff with the family. And, and anytime I'm coming in to land on runway 5, it's right on top of the high school. So thank God it didn't hit a school. I mean, Houston's is right there. There's hotels. And I mean, in between the Everglades and the beach, folks, is civilization. When you get airborne, when you make a nice donation to the foundation, I take you flying in our L-39 fighter jet down here in South Florida. As soon as you get airborne out of Pompano or Boca, there's the Everglades. There's the Atlantic. And then the sliver in between the two is population. It is packed full of people down here. You can't build east and you can't build west, at least for now, but let's protect the Everglades. And it could have been worse. I mean, it just missed the I-95 ramp on Glades I mean, you can't. And then obviously my phone blew up again. Like, hey, can you talk about the mishap that just happened down the street from your house? So it can all change, man, in the blink of an eye. All these aviation mishaps, none of those people. I mean, hell, the midair at Reagan or in D.C., from the flight crew to the cabin attendants to the passengers, they were landing. Fucking gear and flaps were down. I'm on my cell calling the Uber. I have carry-ons. I don't need to go to baggage claim. We're at 300 feet. Let me call the Uber. Gone. It's at times like this I remember my ibogaine experience where, kind of my parting question to God was, hey, thanks for everything, man. But, why Monica? Why so young? Well, just why? And God said, I know. Trust me. And I was healed, and I did. Doesn't make it any easier. I get it. And times I am weak and still have a little ego moment where, man, but so God bless these souls who have transitioned. They're with us all right now. There's no such thing as death. You're pure energy, man. Majority of your body, this flesh meat puppet, it's just it's a housing group for your perfect soul. So it's been a while, and a lot of that stuff going on. Man, okay. How about the market? So we'll get to the foundation stuff, but holy crap! Since the last podcast I did was with Dr. Deborah Mash, the queen of Ibogaine. If this is your first podcast, choke yourself, give yourself 50 push-ups, go watch the last one, go watch all 21 of them in order. Episode 7, my first medicine debrief. It'll blow you away. I re-listen to that sometimes, man. Was really feeling the spirit for that podcast. That's my first medicine debrief. But since I've spoken to you, holy crap, the market's been pounded into the dirt with Trump just doing a USS New Jersey broadside, trade broadside with tariffs and trying to make free and equal trade. I'm old enough to remember Ross Perot. Can I finish? Right? Ran as an independent 92? People thought he was nuts. NAFTA, you offshored all our stuff. It's going to be bad. You're going to destroy the middle class and factories moving overseas. And all the Republicans at the time, it's good business. Businesses should be able to move wherever they want. Well, here we are. China steals everything that's not nailed down. Intellectual property, whatever you build here in the U.S., they're going to hack into it, build it over in China, and charge a fraction of the cost. It's disgusting. They're just awful. So the parties have literally reversed. Donald Trump, Republicans have become the party of bring all that stuff home. And it's a national security issue, folks. All their cheap fucking steel that they dump in. They've built more ships. I saw since like World War II, like 1,800 ships in China. We built like 3 or something obscene. It's a national security issue, folks. And I love that the Democrats now are against that and Republicans are for it, because Democrats now are like, oh, really? Do you think that poor people are going to be building iPhones in Peoria, type of thing? Like the let them eat cake attitude. Are you fucking kidding me? So you don't mind your iPhone being built in China by Uyghur children slaves. Google Apple iPhone suicide nets or Foxconn. Take a look at the images, this snuck out images, pictures of where these workers live. Each floor has netting sticking out from it. Now, an idiot might say, well, that's for construction. They are suicide nets. You can't kill yourself here. You got to go back to work and make iPhones for limousine latte liberals in America. Isn't that incredible? The party of civil rights and human rights. Oh, no. Don't bring factories or manufacturing back to the U.S. I want my cheap iPhone made by slave labor. How fucking gross can you get? The hypocrisy is absolutely insane. We really have swapped parties in this country. I kind of float around the middle, don't get me wrong, but it's comical. Whenever I see the hypocrisy, I got to call it out. Oh shit, man. Obviously, since we last talked, the Pete Heggs Signal Gate, right? I did a couple medias on Signal Gate. Breaking news. I have top secret war plans. It was on a Signal thread and, frothing at the mouth. You need to fire Mike Waltz, the National Security Advisor, and Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense. War plans. I just have happened to have spent a lot of time on aircraft carriers in that region as a carrier air wing strike qualified strike lead. I've done strike planning against Iraq and also Iran. We can talk about that at a different time. I know what I don't know what a war plan is, but the Democrats throw around and then it's not a war plan. It was an attack plan. What? We call them strike plans, like the people who actually do this stuff. So, of course, Democrats smelled blood in the water and frothed at the mouth. And, oh, my God, you put F-18 pilots' lives in danger. The fuck you did. Donald Trump could have taken the actual strike plans. Like, folks, when I walked up on the flight deck of the aircraft carrier, first of all, strike planning could take a couple days, hours. I've been in it, man. When I walk up onto the flight deck, in my helmet bag, I have the strike plan. The signal thread was not a fucking strike plan. And if you've never done one, shut up. Okay? I can't stand people go from being an expert virologist to an expert airline pilot to an expert on classified this to a trade and tariff expert in the span of weeks. Social media is great for getting information out and being connected to people, and it's also awful. People just swing from areas of, quote, expertise that they have no idea what they're talking about. Was information in the signal thread sensitive? Yeah, it was. That's why I was on Signal, folks. And by the way, in case you don't hear this in the liberal media, the Biden administration allowed the use of Signal for sensitive stuff. And if you actually took the time and just didn't take your talking points from the media or the Democrats and read the thread, what did it say? It alluded to the high side. Hey, well, as we talked about on the high side, what? And then later in the thread, well, if you guys want more details, we're going to have to go back to the high side. What does that mean, Whiz, since you know what you're talking about and you know what you're doing? Exactly. The high side is actually where you can talk secret and top secret, folks, on secure instruments and all sorts of stuff we don't need to get into. So they actually in the thread said, no, we're skirting over towards there, so we'd have to go back to the high side. Let's just kind of keep it at this level. Secret? No. Top secret? No. Sensitive? Yeah. But at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, they could have taken that strike plan out of my helmet bag, sent it to the fucking Houthis, and they still would have not been able to do anything about it. Let me give you an analogy. If Sister Mary's of the Blind University, well, I can't say blind because they have to be able to see. Sister Mary's of the Poor University, their football team. They got Alabama's playbook. Right? Alabama's playbook for the game on Saturday. Not only do they have the playbook, they knew exactly which play Alabama was going to run on every down in order. Would you bet on them? You still got to defend and play Alabama. So it's so stupid. It endangered naval aviators' lives. If you've never done any of this, I really could care less about your opinion. I've been there. I've done it. Nobody was in danger. Do you need to tighten things up? Yep. The real story is how a limousine liberal latte, quote, journalist from the Atlantic got on there. I'll tell you how. Because none of those heavies, from the vice president to national security advisor to SecDef, added that dude. They have a bunch of loops, aides. There's a deep state aide who threw that guy on there on purpose. I don't know about you folks, but if I'm added to a thread like that and they start talking like that, I'm not a dick. I'd be like, hey, guys, I'm on here. I don't know if I'm supposed to be. And I'd exit. But when we're in this gotcha type of country that we live in right now, oh, no, I'm going to sit here and absorb all that I can. I can't stand this shit and the partisan and the hypocrisy and everything like that. It just, it burns my ass, baby. And this is why the country's in the position it's in. Okay? Okay. Pressing on, my good friend Dan Kane, Raisin Kane, had his confirmation hearings the other day. I can't believe it, man. A good buddy of mine. And I just saw his official picture before I walked into the studio. 4 stars on his shoulder. General Raisin Kane is now the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Great American. Love Raisin. Going to be a good, steady hand to the president. Back to the trade and tariff wars. Man, let me lead with this. I use a term called TIC at Top Gun Options. You are the trader in command of your portfolio. Not me, not the president, not Xi Jinping. You are ultimately responsible for what happens to your portfolio. Do you understand that? Most people clearly don't. It comes from the term PIC, P-I-C, pilot in command. When I flew the F-18, man, I went down to maintenance, looked at the maintenance records for the jet I was assigned to fly, looked through everything, fuel, oil, hydraulics, maintenance issues, and I took out my pen and signed my name, the date, and my rank, and I owned the airplane. That $65 million airplane was mine for that flight, solely responsible. These people on social media, Trump, oh my God, my retirement plan and this and that. That ain't his fault, folks. Listen to me. If you know, I can't believe I have to start this basic with investing. You ready? For every frothing at the mouth, panicked seller. Oh my God, the market's imploding. I'm selling my stocks. Who is on the other side of that? A happy buyer. Did you fail investing 101? For every buyer, there's a seller, and for every seller, there's a buyer. Warren Buffett, one of the smartest investors of all time, over the past 6 months or so, 8 months, has been quietly exiting a lot of his big positions. I told TOPGUN Options members, I'm like, he's thinning his Bank of America right now. Still the largest shareholder. He's moving the cash. Every time in my 35 years of investing experience, Warren Buffett has kind of excused himself from the table and kind of gently walked towards the exit. 1 potato, 2 potato, market crash. So if you're panic selling, people like Warren Buffett and me are scooping up the discounts. If you're an idiot, and I mean this in the most kindest way, if you're an idiot that thinks markets only goes up and to the right, I have zero sympathy for you. I'm going to open up the doors again next week at TOPGUN Options. go.topgunoptions.com/full-throttle. Again, I'm going to show the public how you make money as markets go down. Not only can you use options to protect your current long-term bullish positions, you can print money. Matter of folks, options trading, I love blood in the streets. Now, I'm bipolar a little right now, right? As Whiz, I care. I care about my 401k, and I have to care because I'm a human being. And then the other half of me turns into Gordon Gekko, right? or Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street. Fucking good. I'm going to pound you into the dirt. I'm going to take everything that I can from you. That's your fault. That's not mine. If you don't like the way markets work, don't fucking trade. Put your money in a Folgers can, and I am old enough to remember a Folgers can, and put it in your backyard and bury it. You can make money as markets go down. If you don't know how to do that, that's not the president's fault. That's not terrorist fault. That's not Xi's fault. That's nobody's fault but yours. Period. And don't regurgitate some other stupid propaganda back at me like, I heard options are dangerous and whatever. What? It's so stupid, man. After like the initial full throttle session, the chat thing is usually filled up like, oh my God, where have you been all my life? Why haven't I learned how to trade options before? You put in a little elbow grease. We have 7 options weapons school training sessions, about an hour each. You watch them. You can get up to speed in a weekend if you gave a shit. But if you just think the markets go up and to the right, great. Over the long term, you're right. But in the short term, folks, it's market cycles. I put this chart on my social media. I started investing 1991, Naval Air Station Key West. I sent like $50, which was a lot of money for me at the time, to the USAA Aggressive Growth Mutual Fund or something like that. And I've never looked back, been investing ever since. But if I posted this on my Instagram, official Whiz Buckley, since 1991, what's the market done? Up and to the right. However, .com boom, 2000, slam. 2008 global financial crisis. We're all going to die. Slam. And then it really rips until when? The scandemic, the plandemic. Slam. And then slam. And then, so folks, every one of the market implosions in my 35 years, 4 years of trading and investing has been the sweetest buying opportunity. Do you understand this? Do you assume the role of tick, trader in command? I can't. It annoys me, man. It really. Nobody cares more about your money than you. If somebody else cares more about your money than you, they're probably stealing it from you. That's why I don't manage money. People are always like, wait, I manage mine, baby. You can come and eavesdrop and watch what I'm doing with my own personal account. What you do on the other side of your computer and your robe and your bunny slippers is your own business. None of mine. So I don't manage people's money. Why? Because I shouldn't be in charge. I'm a single-seat fighter pilot. I'm a single-seat trader. You should be too. And I love when people are like, well, my college roommate is a registered investment advisor, and he manages my money for me. You're an idiot. If you think your old roommate cares more about your money than you, you're weird. And I guarantee you, he or she doesn't. And then after listening to that just now, my phone's going to blow up with all my RIA buddies and certified financial planners who go, Whiz, I have a fiduciary duty to these people too. Dude, if you treat their money better than yours, it's just that it sounds good in your brochure. You're full of shit. I know these people. Not their fault, folks. It's human nature. Right? And some of these people, well, I don't make money if they don't make money. Great. What happens if you lose all of their money? Do you lose all of yours? Cricket, cricket. So enough. This too shall pass. Be present, baby. If you're anxious, you're living in the future. If you're sad, you're living in the past. Be present. Shameless plug for go to getmaverickmind.com. You should be microdosing right now. I start almost all my briefs during the past 2-3 weeks when people have been jumping out of buildings. I'm like, who woke up this morning full of gratitude? Who woke up and did their 20-minute meditation? Who took their morning brief, the microdose from Maverick Mind? Who went to yoga? Who did a 60-minute hot vinyasa that almost killed you? Then who got home after all of that, centered and ready to go? Do you know how I was, what I felt when the market started imploding? Okay. Do you know how I felt the other day when Trump said, I'm going to institute a 90-day delay. Nobody does delays better than me. 90-day delay. The market had to rip your face off early. How was I then? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are super happy when the market explodes and super pissed and sad and you're getting destroyed when the market goes down, you're doing it wrong. 90% of trading is emotional. The senseis that can walk on the rice paper and leave no trace, the folks that can take the emotion out of trading are the ones that crush it. Don't get me wrong, man. 1991, young ensign in the U.S. Navy, living in Key West. I was not. I was that guy. Market's up. Yeah, I'm making money. Market's going down. Oh, my God, I'm miserable. No. That guy died. He died on the floor of a home in Mexico, man. So if you're not centered in your trading, you will be miserable. Do not be the average retail trader that buys high and I need to dump it low. You're doing it wrong. One more time. go.topgunoptions.com/full-throttle. Now, I can't remember, man, if I went to Rising Ridge in Oklahoma after Dr. Mash. Probably should have done this better podcast prep, but plane crashes flying all over the place. But anyway, we had a great retreat. 15 veterans, disabled veterans, guys with some pretty bad trauma. We went up to Oklahoma. My brother Jared Napier, look at his podcast. He was in the studio here in Boca Raton. One time we did an in-person podcast review. What an incredible human being. The No Fallen Heroes Foundation sponsored 5 Veterans to Heal. I went up to hold space, and man, it's just such a powerful, it's part of my healing to hold space, to see these brave, courageous human beings, almost more courage than standing up in front of bullets, being willing to go, crack the chest open and heal. It's just it's humbling, and it is part of my healing. So, seeing these 15 guys show up, on day one, like, oh, I think I remember you from the Zoom call, and everybody kind of standoffish, to Sunday hugging, crying, and best friends for life, and just all to a man looking lighter, brighter. Go check out the pictures on my Instagram, man. Rising Ridge, great stuff. So we're continuing our mission of healing our heroes at home. Had our doc, our chief medical officer, Rosie, Dr. Kristen Barnes. She just went out to Mons Sana in Colorado, where we had a single grant recipient. So he and Rosie were out there, and now we're budgeting, which is just brutal, for the rest of the year. We're close to what we did in the entire year last year in Q1 and Q2 here, which makes my heart smile. But we're on fumes. We need to hit the tanker, man. We need support, $5, $10, $20, $100, whatever it is a month. If you could donate, it all goes to our grant recipients, man. It's good and bad that ibogaine is so popular. Did you see on the news the Texas Ibogaine Initiative? God bless my brother, Marcus Luttrell. I saw Dakota Meyer there, the Texas State House. I think it's $50 million. Kentucky swing and a miss with their ibogaine initiative. A lot of politics there. And then former Governor Rick Perry, man, Republican, law and order, anti-drug. Could not be more pro-psychedelic. So the Texas Ibogaine Initiative, my brother from another mother, Daniel Carcillo, he and I were up in Palm Beach about a month ago at a place called the Hanley Foundation. It's a big, beautiful campus up in Palm Beach for addiction. And these people heard about ibogaine and what it could potentially do, and they are all ears. So we need the Florida Ibogaine Initiative. Governor Ron DeSantis, you're failing. You could not be more upset with you, bro. You're a Navy veteran, you're a fellow Navy officer, and you're failing the veterans in the state of Florida, period. Don't know if he's going to watch this podcast. Somebody needs to get to him, man. He's failing. The California, Texas tied for first, maybe, with veteran population. I think we're second, or maybe it's a three-way tie. There's a lot of veterans in the state of Florida, Governor. What are you doing? I saw the VA Secretary Doug Collins on the Sean Ryan podcast. The vote's still out. Personally, Sean had to give him about a 10-minute brief on psychedelics for veterans, and Secretary kind of, yeah, and then moved on to like how he's finding money in fraud, waste, and abuse. It was a non-answer, in my opinion. Sean did most of the talking. Sean, I'd love to be on your podcast to talk about this stuff. I would have pinned him down. You didn't. Joe Rogan did the same with J.D. Vance. It's incredible that the folks who have done the medicine, when you're talking to somebody like that, I get it. I feel it. I want to jump out of my skin, too. Like, let me brief you on this stuff. After that, you got to go, what do you think? What are you going to do about it? What's the action plan? Who's going to do what by when, Mr. Secretary? Cricket. So I'm happy. I have to be happy. When I was like, holy crap, I need to go do a solo, Whiz podcast. It's been a while. And then I kind of looked back on the dates when we started this, and was it Virginia Slims? That's how old I am. Lady cigarette or whatever. You've come a long way, baby. We have. So we have come a long way. We have a long way to go. I remind people when they say, what's your 3-year, 5-year strategic objective for the foundation? I don't want to be here. I don't want to be doing this. We should not be doing this. There shouldn't be nonprofits doing this. And gentle reminder that there are some so-called nonprofits in this space that are anything but that's a separate conversation. We shouldn't be doing it. The VA should live up to its promises made to the women and men who serve this nation. But as well as I do, hell, today, I gave up. I'm not in the VA system. Fucking gave up. Thank God I have the money. Man, I posted on my social about, I forget where it was. That hurts that I don't remember this, but a guy at a VA literally out into the parking lot, sat in his car and put a bullet in his head. I wish that was a one-off, right? Like, oh my God, that rarely happens. It does. Happens. It's disgusting. So Secretary Collins, not that you're listening to the Max Afterburner podcast yet, what are you doing? Get out of D.C., take your coat and tie off, throw on some fucking yoga pants and some boots and a hoodie, and come watch. Come sit in ceremony. Hold space. Stop listening to Sean Ryan, Whiz, Marcus Luttrell. You see it with your own eyes. I don't need you in D.C. going, oh, yeah, well, I heard these veterans are doing psychedelics. Somebody look into that. We'll put a committee on it. How about, man, I went on a fucking retreat. I was blown away by the healing that I saw. One more time, I'm going to remind you, folks. Look at this. Last night, 6 people died in a horrific helicopter crash in the Hudson, and 3 people in Boca Raton today. 9. I've been on News Nation, Newsmax, Fox News, and my PR lady's got like local news hits tonight. National news, 9 people. Plane crash, Whiz. The helicopter disintegrated. I get it. How about I start showing the photos of the wearing my T-shirt today? 22. Let's just use 22. Government says this number. The University of Alabama, Duke University say this number. I'll meet you at 22. Do you imagine? Do you imagine if 22 Americans died every day in an aviation crash? Let's just say, a half-full RJ went down every day in this country. We'd stop flying. There would be a national safety stand down. We are FAA, the NTSB has ordered the transportation secretary says no airliners fly until we figure out what's going on. Oh, you got it. 22 veterans. Oh, well, thank you for your service. And what a tragedy. Fucking do something, man. Move. Shoot, move. Standing still is doing nothing. So I'll throttle back. We've come a long way, baby. The fact that we're talking about a Texas Ibogaine initiative or, doing retreats in Oklahoma. I mean, I get it. When I started this thing, we are coming up on my 4-year medicine anniversary. Me, Marcus, JJ, JT, and Robert Winthorpe. We absolutely have come a long way. There's no way in hell would have thought I'd be doing retreats in Oregon or Colorado or being, partners with Daniel in the Oregon clinic called Experience Onward, having my own microdose company, getmaverickmind.com. So I get it. Let's celebrate the victories, but man, it ain't over. It ain't over until everybody's accounted for. I'm not fucking Joe Biden. Bye. If you're an American in Afghanistan, be at this gate by this time. It's the last flight. If you don't make it, see ya. No man left behind still means something to some of us. This mission is not over. We got to put the ladder down. God healed me, took away so much pain, regret, trauma, depression, addiction, so I could run back into the fire and grab more people. This is the way. This is how we heal. So please support our mission. Go to nofallenheroes.com. If you're a veteran, first responder, or family member, click the top right. It says apply for a grant. I hate to have to talk like this, but I have to. I mean, I have people who I tell that to, and then I get an email like a week later, and a month later going, hey, I put my app in. Where am I? I'm like, dude, we have hundreds of people on our list. If you can partial pay, you clearly move up. If you can self-pay, we can get you going, obviously, very, very quickly. But we're limited by funds, man. sadly not made a money. I mean, I started this thing. Susie and I started this thing with our own money, but that clearly that's not sustainable as our waiting list grows. That's what let's go back to that. 3 to 5 years, I want to be gone. The VA should be doing this, but you pick up the phone to try and get an appointment at the VA. They're like, okay, are you free Tuesday, 10 months from now at 6 a.m. type of thing? What? 10? Could you imagine when, not if, we can do psychedelic therapy for veterans? What it's going to be like? So clearly, the No Fallen Heroes Foundation isn't going away anytime soon. I'd love to start doing retreats here in Florida. Matter of fact, we're probably going to start doing retreats here in Florida. A good friend of mine opened a spiritual retreat center where we can sit with the medicine in the great state of Florida. It's called Religious Freedom, ladies and gentlemen. I've never been more spiritual in my life. I went from altar boy Catholic to not believing in God to reconnecting with God and never being closer. You, Uncle Sam, cannot tell me how to practice my faith. Not doing any human sacrifices or hurting anybody, so get out. Love Tom and Scientology. If people can believe in Xenu and spaceships and be tax exempt and be a church and a religion, then the Whiz fighter and healing folks with these medicines absolutely falls under the Religious Freedom Act. There's people fighting that in court cases, and there's a dogfight going on. But I'm blown away that there's even an issue with this. I seem to remember, maybe I'm wrong, the founding of this country. You need to believe this. The king says this. What? You need to believe, or the church says this. The king said, well, we're gonna hop on a bunch of boats and we want to practice our religion without a king, without a government saying this is the government approved religion. We fucking fought a war for this, folks. And now the DEA is involved in granting, like, you must, if you're going to use these medicines, you must apply with the DEA. Yeah, okay. No, absolutely not. Can you imagine that first retreat in Colorado? I remember like jokingly saying, you know what, DEA, do me a favor. Do me a favor. Come and raid. Throw in your SWAT gear and like your tank and come raid a healing retreat of veterans, first responders, and family members trying to heal. I would never have to raise another dollar in my life, and I would go to jail for it, for the honor. Could you imagine? But that's where we are. Google it. There are people like, wait a minute, and attorneys are like, wait, don't fill out the DEA application for a religion. I can't even believe I'm talking like this, because you'll entrap yourself. Like, do you currently use these methods? So it's actually an entrapment form. DEA should be shut down, separate conversation. But, the government telling people what they can and can't do with their faith, or it pisses me off. But let's start winding down, Whiz, but winding down on a high note. Aviation, if the beginning of the podcast freaked you out, folks, I go flying tomorrow. I'm flying out to Colorado. I have zero problems with flying. Do have problems with helicopters. That's the personal Whiz opinion on bricks with a rotor on top. It's not my cup of tea and never will be. But airliner, small planes, I mean, they're safe, folks. So don't freak out. I'm driving around Boca. It's like the Battle of Britain. People do not know how to drive, man. I-95 is like the Daytona 500. So it's so much more dangerous in a car. You're okay. The 9 souls who woke up yesterday and today not knowing they were going to transition, please bless us. You're there, right? Have mercy on us, man, for still being here, and we will see you soon. In the span of eternity, we'll see you soon. So God bless them and their families. I saw on the news the brother of the guy who died and was landing in New York to come and claim the the bodies. My God. It's okay. It's always okay. Trust me. Markets, I got nothing else for you, man. Either learn to trade options or keep failing, right? Everybody was a genius for 2 years under Joe Biden, right? As they pumped monopoly money, folks. The Federal Reserve literally printing money out of thin air. Where'd it come from? I hit enter on my laptop and digital money appears, or they print it at a Federal Reserve printing thing and I ship it to Federal Reserve banks. Dude, I owe taxes this year. Can you hook a brother up? Can you hit enter on Whiz and make money appear? So, folks, it was all bullshit. It's a MacGyver market, a paperclip, a rubber band, and string. We knew it was going to break. We knew decades of bullshit, rampant government spending, Fed printing money, was going to end. If it didn't, it would have ended a lot more horrifically than this. I love or hate, President Trump. He said it right the other day. He said, got to take your medicine. Sometimes it hurts. He's right. Now, with the bond market and some other things potentially creaking, that's why he took a pause. But it never ceases to amaze me. All the idiots who are freaking out right now, you clearly, and you're not going to go buy it because your face will melt off. You clearly didn't read The Art of the Deal. The guy lays out step by step what he's doing right now. Fire an insane broadside, get everybody to scramble, drive the fight, then throttle back a little. So whatever you end up with is insanely better than if you had just incrementally gone up. It's in the book, folks. Can't stand when people are this dumb. Like, oh my God. I'm like, did you not read it? He's on step 3.5 right now. Duh. So you're responsible. Nobody else. I have zero sympathy for you if your portfolio is going down. It's not the president's fault. It's not G. It's not tariffs. It's not the little green man from Mars. It's not Tom Cruise. It's your fault. Take control of your financial future. I have zero sympathy for you, folks. Everybody's a genius when the market's going straight up. No, you're not. You're not a genius when the market's going straight up. You're a genius when you join TOPGUN Options and you learn to print money. I love it. Go look at Trustpilot. Search TOPGUN Options on Trustpilot. Look at all the recent things like, holy crap, man, I finally learned I can print money as the market's going down. I'm that guy now. Yeah, it didn't have to take this long. Go.topgunoptions.com/full-throttle. And I'll teach you how to do this. It ain't hard. Finally, the medicine. Head to getmaverickmind.com. Get, G-E-T, maverickmind.com. We got our merch on there. We have our morning brief microdose and also our night duty. Take it about an hour before bed. Sleep like a baby. I'm no longer up at 3 staring at the ceiling or my watch. So night duty is incredible. Night trap. And then the morning brief. Love the morning brief. Meditate, morning brief, yoga. I'm ready for the day, man. 5 days on, 2 days off, right? You don't want if you do it all the time, it's not going to work. God's a brilliant pharmacologist. You can't keep hitting it. You got to take a break, and then you can get back on it. Know so many people who are getting off medications and stuff simply by microdosing, okay? GetMaverickMind.com. Finally, before I go, we need some shekels, man. Throw them over the fence. $25. Take your monthly Starbucks, whatever, and throw it at the foundation. I get times are might be tight right now. You might be getting your ass kicked in the market. There are still people, 22 a day, man. 22 a day are checking out, and your donation, and this isn't hyperbolic or literally could save a life. Getting a text from a vet that says, Whiz, just got off the retreat. I don't want to kill myself anymore. You can't put a dollar sign on that. You can't. It's just, that's what keeps me going. I still have my down days, man. I got my shit, man. But I'm not in those down days. I can step out of them and go, dude, you're in it, but you're okay. Old Whiz, man, I was in it, and everybody else was going to be in it with me. Thankfully, that guy died on a mattress on a floor of a home in Mexico. I am humbled. I am honored to be doing this mission. I am humbled by your support. I think I'm robbing a village somewhere of an idiot. So I thank you for your love and support of our mission. Okay. All right. I got to get going. I was about to say it's Miller time, but I don't drink anymore, and I don't think I've had a Miller. And remember that? That's how old I am. It's Miller time. But for you, maybe it is Miller time. All right, folks, I got to get going. Have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you're hedged, which many of you are not, clearly, because you're wanking about it. Fights on. Namaste and basi basi. Whiz out.